So I show up to work the next day, and I was recording with Jackson Browne, who had been one of my deepest heroes
man.
in the world, because I had a roommate at the University of New Hampshire that only listened to Jackson Browne. So we would have late night conversations about the lyrics, about the concept. I mean,
Linda
really
Paloma.
just believed so much in him. And here he was coming in to sing a version of Me and Bobby McGee with Chris Christopherson.
Oh,
And so
it gets better by the
this was
gets better by the moment.
unbelievable day, and I realized, like, okay, if ever there seize the day, it's today.
Yeah.
So I went and, you have to pick and choose your moments with when to speak to the artists and when to actually, stay away. And Jackson and I were eating a burrito at lunch, and I felt like, well, this is my time. And I remember asking him a very simple question. He had written a song called Shadow Dream Song. And it was a very obscure song, and I really only knew about it because of my roommate in college. And my roommate had played me an alternative version written that had been performed by Greg Allman. And the interesting thing was that this version had never been released, except there was about a 3-month window where one record company released the album. I believe Greg Allman and his team or somebody sued them to stop it. And it then got disbanded and pulled off the shelves. But I managed to get it at the record store in that small little window. And I remember listening to the song, and there's a lyric in the song. Actually, the song that I was referring to was Song for Adam. And there was a lyric in the song about a friend of Jackson's. They had done some traveling early on in their lives, and each had gone their separate way, until one day Jackson received a letter that his friend had passed on. And there's a lyric in the song where Jackson says, I'm wondering if he fell. The story's told that Adam jumped. I'm wondering if he fell. And Greg Allman said, I'm hoping that he fell. And I just felt like there was this subtle thing that made that more powerful to me. That you're hoping that he fell. Now you're actually taking a stance on his choice to move on in life or not. And it just was a subtle thing, but for whatever reason, I mustered up the courage and I asked Jackson, hey, did you originally write hoping that he fell or thinking that he fell? And I remember him looking at me really funny and just like, what a kind of question is that? But for whatever reason, he connected to it. And he just liked the sincerity of it, because I really just wanted to know. I didn't have any expectations of ever seeing him again, which is why I asked that question, because I really wanted it to know this for some time. Since that day, we became friends, and he offered me a job at his studio in Los Angeles, California, actually in Santa Monica. And so a few months after that, I ended up moving out to California. I had never been out here. When you grow up in New Jersey, they make you think California is a place that's about to explode. Because they don't want you to see how beautiful, how warm, and how nice it can be. So I finally make it out here. I remember calling my parents and saying, for 25 years you guys have been crazy because this is beautiful. It was just a really great change for me. I mean, I'd been in the city running around like a madman for so long. Then out here, Jackson said, look, we won't work those long hours. We're going to have time to really listen to music, to get to know each other. It's going to be more of a human experience than the Hit Factory, which was a massive undertaking of my spirit at that time. So I moved out here and was able to actually reflect on what had just happened those last few years. I was able to really think about the monks and how that had impacted me. And I had a phone call one day from a friend who said, listen, I have a mutual friend. Her name is Whitney Cronkey, and she would like to meet you at Red Rock on Sunset to discuss your idea of filming and recording street musicians. Well, this is a breakthrough. I'd only mentioned the idea to a few friends, but as luck would have it, we met one afternoon, and we are now in our 10th year of having become a partnership with Playing for Change. She just really was drawn by the idea of starting with the roots of the people, going into places where other people don't go, into subways, into street corners, to find these people and start from the roots up. And let's go explore where this takes us. So she came in as a partner, as a producer, and as an investor to go learn about where does this exist. So while we were still keeping our day jobs, we assembled a small recording mobile recording studio. And at that time, technology wasn't as great as it is now. I mean, at that time, I don't even know if if I had a cell phone at that time. But what we did have to do is power everything with a golf cart battery, and had a big rack of equipment. So subtlety was not an option.
No.
Suddenly, now I thrive on subtlety. But back then, I mean, there was no disguising us.
You
We're
had to
coming
schlep
with
some heavy
racks of
equipment
gear.
yeah.
And we decided, okay, so what we did is we started scouting all over Los Angeles. We would just go out there and try to see, where the music was playing, and we went from subways and into the streets and everywhere we could go. And we found a bunch of really cool musicians, and we set up some shoots to go there to kind of just record them and film them live where they were in the natural environment.
Yeah.
Because that's what moved me the most about the Monks. It's that there was no separation between them, their music, and the people. They play, somebody can walk by, and if they're so choose, have a life-changing experience. But it was free and real. And the other great thing about this musical experience, or any musical experience, is that it really is a shared experience intrinsically between the performer and the listener. They create the meaning. And so I've always loved that, because it's never about one to another. It's about the two going back and forth and creating something, essentially a form of transcendence. It's something suddenly bigger than you,
Yeah.
that just you were a part of and wouldn't have existed without you.